welcome to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
Today's episode is going to be the start of a little series we're going to do, actually.
Yeah.
Places we want to go.
In the UK.
Well, in the UK, yes. But I mean, the bigger series will be places we want to go around the world.
Yeah.
But places we want to go in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, we were recently asked.
We're kicking off with that since, the UK and we know it and stuff.
Yeah. And there's a lot of places in the UK we want to go. And there's a lot of places in America we want to go, too, which should be easy enough, but...
We could actually call it places we want to go in England, and then places we want to go in Wales, and then places we want to go in Scotland.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys will be interested in that, so...
Yeah.
And if you're not, well, we're just going to do it anyway.
We might just do, like, a one-off of, like... bucket list type places.
Bucket list, you hate that term.
I hate the term bucket list. I really do.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I just despise it.
It's not a really good. It's there was another term for it. I can't remember what it was now. Yeah, not things to do before I die, but that's what a bucket list is. But there was a better term,
But that is, I think a one-off episode, like maybe like top 5 places around the world or something.
Top 5 places around the world.
We were recently, what inspired this was that we were suggested it by one of our listeners.
Yeah, one of our listeners suggested this.
Spring Breeze to you. Yeah.
Spring Breeze to you.
Shout out to Spring Breeze to you.
Shout out to Spring Breeze to you. Spring Breeze to me. Spring Breeze to everyone.
She's so good. She's so great, you guys.
Yeah.
She's quite possibly the only person listening to us.
Her and Jasmine and there's a couple of other people as well.
Yeah, but we just love the feedback, you guys. We love knowing that you guys are listening and we're not just... I mean, because Dominic, as we always say, Dominic and I have these discussions just lying in bed at night,
Is anyone listening to us? Who's listening to us? Where are they listening to us?
Yeah.
How are they listening to us?
Yeah, so we love, like, getting messages and comments and all of that kind of stuff from you guys letting us know what you thought about the episode. You can also tell us if you thought the episode sucked. We want to know that too.
Yeah, if you say, "Oh well, this wasn't a really great episode," and I understand if you think, "Oh, I'd never say that to anyone," but really, we won't be going, "Oh well," we'll go, "Oh really? Oh what do you mean?"
Might not. Yeah. Oh, what do you mean? What did you not like about it? Or
the whole thing? You were terrible.
and we can be honest here and say that it may or may not influence whether we do another episode of that sort. Because,
yeah.
Sometimes we just want to talk about things we want to talk about,
Because, on this podcast, we're gearing up to renovate an RV.
Seems like that's what everyone's doing.
Everyone on YouTube is doing that now. So
everyone.
Let's literally jump on the RV bandwagon.
That'll make for some riveting listening.
We're not really renovating an RV, I mean...
I wish we were, though, actually. It sounds so fun.
In this heat...
Well, no.
In Texas, in summer.
God, everything would melt by the time... we wouldn't have to worry about rain.
Well, you say that, but we've had a couple of spells of rain recently. Dark days.
But anyway.
Dark days, everybody. Anyway, back on track. back on topic.
Getting back on topic.
This is places we want to go in the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
The Great Britain.
We thought this would be fun. There's so many places that we have not been.
Yeah, I've only taken Erica to a handful.
So we can only talk about...
Not even a handful. Maybe like a pinch.
So when we talk about these places in this series, in today's episode and then in the series going forward, you need to know that we have not been to these places. So all the information that we've gotten is from YouTube videos or like travel shows that we've seen on the television.
What we've heard
about them, what we've read online.
And maybe we'll inspire you to want to go there too.
Pictures we've seen on Instagram, all of that kind of thing. And that is why we want to go. And we're just going to talk about why we want to go, what it looks like, what we hope to see there, all of that kind of stuff.
I mean, the first place that sprung to mind when I was thinking of places we want to go in the UK was, as Rick Steves calls it, the Cotswolds.
Does he? I don't remember that.
People on PBS will know, or people who watch PBS will know Rick Steves travels around the world in his the Cotswolds.
He's got books.
He's got books.
You know, his books, when I first was studying up to go to Britain.
You did the
Well,
Rick Steves
they have
tour.
the Frommer's guide.
The Frommer's Guide, yeah.
Yeah, they have those, and then they have Rick Steves guides, and those are like the two most popular kind of guidebooks you can get if you want to like study up on a place. But also there's a little thing called the internet. But
well, the internet kind of put paid to all that. But you know, like before the internet, those people were like the only source of information about that place.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, Rick Steves has been to the Cotswolds. Let's see what he thinks about it.
Yeah,
you know, and you know now the internet, everyone, TripAdvisor. You know, you've got a whole bunch of people who've been there saying, "Nah, don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't rate it at all.
Don't
go
there. Don't bother going there.
Don't go there. They don't even have a McDonald's. What's going on?" And someone goes, "Oh, what are you talking about? I go there specifically because they don't have a McDonald's."
Yeah.
You know, and you know you've got a bunch of conflicting opinions.
Yeah.
The internet, everybody.
So what exactly is the Cotswolds, Dominic?
Well, the Cotswolds, it's an area of outstanding natural beauty since 1966.
Oh no, not one of those again.
That's kind of like, what do you call them over here? Just national parks.
National parks.
It's not really a national park.
No,
though,
this goes along with everything. Just once again, in Britain, everything has got to be cute. It's got to have like a really cute name.
How is area of outstanding natural beauty a cute name?
Because you're calling it outstanding natural beauty, you know, and then they shorten it to
AONB.
Yes.
Well, it's just an acronym, isn't it? So it's just AONB. You know, that's the Cotswolds area. The Quantocks is an AONB.
Oh, you know, we were looking at a map one time, and Dominic's like, "Oh yeah, this is an area of outstanding natural beauty," and I thought he was just like
saying that.
I thought he was being poetic. You know?
But I said it again. It says, well, the Cotswolds is an area of an outstanding natural beauty. Yes. And we were watching Peep Show, and they go to this area in just, I think it's in Somerset, actually, called the Quantocks, the Quantock Hills. And I said, yeah, it's an AONB. And you was like, what's an AONB? And I said, it's an area of outstanding natural beauty. And you were like, well, that's an actual name. That's an actual what they call it. I said, yes, it is. It is. It's a name. It's what they actually call it.
But yeah, the Cotswolds.
Which is an area of outstanding natural beauty.
But it's not like, you know, we're equating it to a national park in America.
Something
but it's
that's
not
been,
a park, is it?
Something that's been preserved and, you know, it's relatively untouched. It's not a national park, no, but national parks like the Lake District and the Peak District.
This would
and Snowdonia, I'd say they were like AONB.
More equivalent to a national park, though, yeah. The Cotswolds is actually...
It's a district.
Yeah.
And it
towns, villages.
It spans 6 counties in England, which are Oxfordshire, Gloucestershire, Somerset, Wiltshire, Warwickshire, and Worcestershire.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that large of an area. Well, really, I cannot remember now where I first heard of the Cotswolds. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know. But you
saw pictures.
Originally, I thought it was just like,
and that's what you thought England was going to be.
I thought the Cotswolds was a village in England, you know.
Yeah, it does sound like, it's the Cotswolds, yeah.
That's where they live, you know. Oh, they live in the
Or
Cotswolds.
it might be a county, yeah. Oh, they live in the Cotswolds, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like it's a district in Britain, but it spans 6 counties. And some of the best parts. It's the country, basically. It's the English countryside.
It's more...
as everybody thinks of England, you know, like
the old kind of styled houses,
old-timey houses
with thatched roofs,
and stone. Some of which have been standing since Elizabethan times. Some have even older than that, like Stone Age. You know?
So it's more equivalent to like World Heritage Site, isn't it? Because it's like they're not reproductions. These buildings.
They're not. Well, yeah. So it's. I think it. I don't know if it's a World Heritage Site per se, but it's definitely. They've got like listed buildings all over the place.
Yeah.
Because they're so.
If you don't know what a listed building is, then you didn't listen to our previous podcast. Was it our previous one? It was last week sometime.
Sometime. But yeah, listed buildings. Everything's like, you know, and people still live there. Tiny country lanes, and you know, it's just, as you said, you know, we were talking about Betasequoid and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, this is how I thought Britain was supposed to look. It's like, well, that is how they've kept it.
yeah.
It's for tourists and everything, but it's just for, you know, just to preserve the English way of life, you could say. Of days gone by. Cobblestone streets.
That's not unique to the Cotswolds, though, is it? I mean, you can find that in certain
mostly
parts of London, even.
And mostly up north.
Oh, yeah.
They got back lanes and cobblestone stuff and all that, you know.
Cobblestone stuff.
I mean, the most famous cobblestone street, I think, in Britain is Coronation Street, and I don't, you know, that's a soap opera.
I was going to say, that's not a real place, though.
But it's got cobbles, you know. It's like, that's what they always say, oh, the drama that goes on the cobblestones, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an area of outstanding natural beauty, in case you didn't know. And it's one of the most photographed corners of the UK. I mean, as you were saying, you know, that's, I can't remember where I heard of it. You've seen it.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Like Castle Combe.
It looks like a storybook village. Like...
Yeah, I mean, but it's you'd think it was all the same village because it kind of they all look similar.
Yeah.
But there's several different villages. I think the most famous is Castle Combe.
Yeah.
Which has a little bridge over a stream and everything like that, and it's like a little, you know...
All the Instagrammers have had their picture there.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, Dr. Dolittle was filmed there in 1967.
Oh, yeah.
With Rex Harrison.
I mean, it's perfect for a film set, isn't it? I imagine a load of things have been filmed.
Yeah, more recently Downton Abbey. Obviously, Downton Abbey's been filmed there. Yeah, the locals hated the production of Dr. Dolittle and wanted to like sabotage it and everything.
What?
They just didn't want them being there, you know, basically. And
it's a really expensive area to live in.
It's hugely expensive.
Yeah.
And in Tetbury, which is another village, mainly because Highgrove is nearby, and that's Prince Charles's family estate. Oh. And he lives there a lot of the time, as far as I know, yeah. Because apparently he's been seen in and around Tetbury, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, getting groceries and whatever, you know.
Getting groceries.
And he has to walk home with them, too.
With his mask.
With his mask on. He's like, bloody Camilla wouldn't come with me, would she?
Oh, my God.
But yeah, no, it's you know, Downton Abbey's filmed in like Tetbury and Castle Combe and all that.
Not Downton Abbey, but when they go into town.
When they go into like a town, yeah. One of the top attractions, I think, though, on those kind of things are like Walks with Hawks is one of them. Which I want to take you on.
Walks with Hawks.
Yeah, it's in Cheltenham, which is in Gloucester. This is another one of the towns of, you know, in the area of outstanding natural beauty. And, you know, you get to experience falconry.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, owls, which you've only recently become obsessed with, haven't you?
Well, no, I've been obsessed with owls for a long time.
Well, no. That's not true, because I think before that it was penguins. Oh. And then you got bored of penguins and got onto owls.
I got bored of them.
Yes, one day you woke up and you were just like...
Who cares about them
penguins
anymore?
Just
penguins are out.
Now. Penguins are out now. Owls are the thing now. Owls are what I'm into now. And, you know, you get to, like, handle them and everything, and you get to walk in them. You know, little baby ones and the big ones and the ones that look like Owl from Winnie the Pooh. And they've got a Cotswolds distillery which makes gin and whiskey.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like, which is expensive.
Yeah.
You know, that's in the village of Stourton. Yeah, all these villages, to me, growing up, they were kind of like school trips, which we'll talk about in a later podcast, because I don't think we've talked about school trips yet.
No, we haven't, no.
They're very school trip-ish to me. You know, when I think of them, when I see pictures, I'm thinking, I'm sure I went there on a school trip in year 6 or something like that. You know, I'm sure I went to the Cotswolds or something. Yeah. But it was actually just in Devon. You know, it was just some little village in, like, Devon I went to that looked like that, too, you know? Because, I mean, there's places all over the UK that look like the Cotswolds, but the Cotswolds is kind of like the
More
most...
compact.
Or, yeah, you know, it's... I mean, some of the best parts of Oxfordshire is in there. Oxfordshire is like...
I didn't realize Oxfordshire was part of the Cotswolds.
Yeah, I think it's...
I thought the Cotswolds was more, like, this direction, like, closer to Wales.
Yeah, it stretches to Bristol.
Yeah.
I think it just stops before Stratford-upon-Avon, which is Shakespeare's stomping ground.
Yeah.
Birthplace. Was he born in Stratford-upon-Avon?
Yeah.
Or I thought he just lived there.
No, I think that's where he was born.
Yeah, so, you know, it was just there, and then I think it goes... I mean, it's a day trip from London, the Cotswolds.
Yeah.
You know, because it includes, like, Bath and all that kind of stuff are there.
I mean, like, I don't think there's a lot to do. You know,
there's a lot to do. I mean, there's attractions.
A lot to see.
There's a lot to see. If you're into history, architecture, you know, ancient architecture, and just quaint little English villages. It's like, I want to see quaint little English villages.
Right.
Castles, and, you know, like how England looks on PBS.
It's gonna be like equivalent to going to Stonehenge. You're just gonna be walking around taking pictures mostly.
You're gonna be walking around taking pictures and being all like, "Oh, this is so
like
quaint."
There's probably like little shops you can go in, though. I would imagine.
Oh yeah, there's so many
if you
of them.
Spend a fortune.
There's pubs, you know, like the Snooty Fox in Tetbury, and you know, like the Red Lion and all them kind of places. You know,
I have heard, though, if you want to stop for food, you know, even just like a sandwich and a drink in the Cotswolds.
A sandwich and a drink in the Cotswolds would probably set you back about 15 quid.
I was gonna say 17 pounds, I think.
Probably
like that.
20 quid, maybe. Yeah. You know, I mean, we're not exactly quoting a price there, but it's in that price range, you know, it's not... Because, I mean, they're so far away, because everything's so... You're so far away from, like, a big thing like Tesco's or Asda, shopping parks and all that kind of stuff. Any kind of modernization, it's like you've stepped back in time.
Yeah.
You've got the old tiny streets, and you're, like, we're watching them drive through an old, like, English village on one of our vlogs, and they were like, oh, you know, have to pull over, have to go here, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, it's very tiny, you know. It's.
I think you can look on YouTube. I'm sure we've seen someone drive through the Cotswolds.
Oh yeah, there's.
It's just like a drive through, you know. It's just some guy, and that's what he does. Is just drives around Britain.
Yeah.
And just films his drives, and I'm sure we watched like a long drive through the Cotswolds. And, yeah.
And I mean, it's just like fields, little villages, stone walls, and you're just like, oh, you know, it's like, I should be riding a horse.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Should be riding a horse in my tricorner hat, you know?
You'd probably feel better because the streets are so narrow. It's just
They're so narrow. They're well maintained. I mean, just amazing.
But they're really only wide enough for one car.
One car, yeah. It's a nightmare driving to the Cotswolds. I'd recommend, you know, maybe driving just outside, or, you know, just because, I mean, I can imagine parking is a nightmare there.
Yeah. Because
there's like nowhere to park, because it's like all just old buildings. And, you know, you should have brought your horse, mate. You know.
Dominic and I have watched this show that's come on over time in Britain that's like, actually, it's not one particular show. They just do a lot of these living history shows.
Back in time?
Well, that's what I was thinking of, but it wasn't. It was like one of those things where people go back and like live in the Victorian age, or maybe even the medieval. I kind of think they live like they're in the medieval. And they had a bunch of
celebrities doing it?
Maybe.
Well, British celebrities.
Yeah. Quasi-celebrities.
they were on the verge of being has-beens. I mean, to be fair.
like all of these celebrities.
Like, you know, they were on the verge of being has-beens. They were famous like 10 or 15 years ago, you know, like they were big. But they're still a big enough name that they'll sign up for this kind of thing. It
was like medieval, wasn't it? Living like they were in for the week or something. Like
it was for a week, and they were living medievally. Yeah, I think Anne Widdecombe was one of them. She's an old.
Well, they did one that was like medieval, and they did one that was like Victorian. But the medieval one, I'm thinking they must have been somewhere in the Cotswolds.
Yeah, they were. In the Stone Age, yeah, it was maybe Tetbury, even.
Yeah.
Because I think there's like a working kind of like living history museum there, and you can go and do it. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if it's like open all year round or if it's just one of those things that they set up, because I mean, it's like the Heritage Village in Dallas. People dress up and they do stuff.
I love that kind of thing. I'm such a nerd for that.
But they do that. They definitely do that in the Cotswolds. They have old time shop with the P and E in the end.
Oh, well, there you go then.
And like someone selling humbugs and like Victorian.
Humbugs.
Yeah, humbugs.
What's a humbug?
It's a sweet.
Oh my god.
You didn't know a humbug was a sweet?
Humbug. Bah humbug.
Yeah, bah humbug, because it's just, humbugs are a sweet. Like an old-timey sweet, anyway. Anyway, there's an... Anyway. Chavanage House in Tetbury.
Okay.
It's a country manor house dating from the late 16th century, and it was Elizabethan. So that's Elizabeth I, not the second.
Yeah.
And it was built in 1576.
Wow. And it's still standing?
And it's constructed of Cotswold stone, which I guess
it's like
stone from the area,
Yeah.
Whatever,
Well, when you said
they couldn't carry it very, very far, I guess.
Well, when you said all the houses and buildings look the same, it's because they're made of that.
Cotswold stone.
It's like a brownish kind of.
It's like I thought it was like a greyish, brownish kind of brick.
Yeah,
it's a mellow looking brick,
Yeah.
Yeah, it just looks very English. Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
And it's got a Cotswold stone-tiled roof. Oliver Cromwell and his general stayed in the house in 1648.
Yeah.
If you're not sure who Oliver Cromwell is, he was one of the key players in the English Civil War. And there are some English Civil War relics on display in that house, because you can tour it too.
Oh, wow, yeah. I would love to do that.
And you can have your wedding there.
Okay, well,
and you
I'll
may
keep that in mind for the next one.
You may want to redo your wedding, actually, when I tell you that it's been used as a filming location for about every period drama that's come out of the UK.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, if you watch PBS and you watch period dramas, you've likely seen Chavanage House. Most famous, though, I think, as Trenwith in Poldark.
Oh my god, so you're telling me
and they filmed
Turner's
inside.
been in there?
Yeah, he's been inside and he's been around the house. It's just like that's where George lived. That was and Elizabeth's house.
Yeah.
So they've got the driveway and everything, and it looks, it looks like a movie set, but it's actually a house, and they've gone in there and wood panelled walls, and everything. It's virtually untouched, and the guy who owns it now does tours of it, obviously.
Well, yeah,
and he lets it out to the filming.
I think that's so great. It's such a great way to keep these old places going.
Is to film a period drama with candles and.
Well, no, that everybody wants to then come tour and they have to pay to get in. That's because those old houses like that cost a fortune to upkeep.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, in the Cotswolds, yeah, but I mean, when you've got like a film crew who's going to pay you to like show it on Poldark or whatever, it's going to be even better, I think.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're going to get tourists from just that. Trenwith. Trenwith. I know you like abbeys and cathedrals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Tewkesbury Abbey is a former Benedictine monastery.
Oh, wow.
It's in Tewkesbury. And it's one of the finest examples of Norman architecture in Britain.
So my ancestors built it. Then.
Your ancestors, yes. The Normans, yes. I mean, I think I mean, I was never really into like churches and stuff, because for me, like an old church was just something that was there.
Yeah.
For me, it's just like, oh, it's the church, Yeah. But to you, it's something like, oh, wow, that church. Because over here, they don't really have, I mean, in Texas, in the area that you grew up in.
In the Panhandle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Churches were not as grand as they are in Britain.
Oh, God, no.
They were more like...
They're big.
They were more like...
They
look more like a... what do they look like? Just a big, like, shed.
Well, no. I mean, those are the more modern ones. No,
the older ones.
The older ones the older ones that we had in my town, they were big and they were made out of brick and stuff, but they were just not as.
But they just kind of looked plain.
Yeah. Yeah, they looked fairly plain.
I mean, because, like when I don't know what got into them when they were like building these, like, Westminster Abbey or, because the church had a lot of money. I mean, most of these were probably built by the Catholic Church.
It was the same type of thing as like building a castle, like.
It was just like,
more grand has to
look so great.
Yeah, well, it's God's house, isn't it? It's a
Spires
castle from God.
And clocks.
Clocks.
They have like some of them have a clock tower and everything.
Oh yeah, I guess they do in Britain.
Yeah, parish churches anyway do.
Yeah.
Tewkesbury Abbey, yeah, it's like Norman architecture, and it's
Where's Tewkesbury?
Gloucestershire.
Okay.
The Gloucestershire Warwickshire Steam Railway, which is something I definitely want to go on. I think is one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very into trains.
Yes.
And you're very into trains.
I like trains, yeah.
And steam railway. I mean, steam is something I remember, like, just going away when I was a small child. Because I remember it wasn't a nationalised thing in Britain anymore. I think they kind of completely all but done it out in the 80s. But really, I think the whole magical age of like steam and everything like that, steam railways and stuff like that. I mean, I was very into trains. Like, I mean, all boys are and all kids are, I think, like get into trains and stuff. And I was really sad, like, because I think that's why she did it in Harry Potter.
I was just thinking of the Hogwarts
Hogwarts Express. I mean, it's just because like steam and the carriages. They had like big things, and like
traveling by rail. It used to be more luxurious.
It was more glamorous.
Yeah,
I think it was definitely more glamorous, and now it's just
now
like
they just pack you in.
You
like
pack
sardines.
you in, and they overcharge you because train prices. The price of a train ticket in Britain is astronomical.
Yeah.
I mean, you think, oh yeah, it's easy to travel by train in Britain. It's easy, but it's not cheap.
It's easy and it's comfortable, and but
because like we were going to do it. We did it the first couple of times. I mean, it's just like electric diesel run trains now. High speed and all that, but.
It's probably my favorite way to travel.
It's my favorite way to travel, and it's so funny to meet someone who's never been on a train. Like, I know a lot of people over here who've never been on one,
Yeah.
It's just like, well, I know a few people who've never been like, never been on a train, or never known that train life,
Yeah.
Not a part of my train life, But yeah. And there's the Gloucester Cathedral in Gloucester.
Oh,
which is another massive...
Yeah.
Thing. And the Royal Gardens at Highgrove in Tetbury are available to tour, which is Prince Charles's residence.
Well, see, it sounds like a fabulous little place, and these are some of the reasons why we
these are some of the reasons we want to go there, because I think the Cotswolds, I mean, as I say, it's very, you say it's the UK, but it's very English.
Yeah.
It's very English, I find. You're not going to find this in, like,
You're not going to find
Wales
that type of village up in Scotland.
Or in Scotland. I mean, you're going to find a different vibe, I think.
Yeah. It's
going to look maybe the same sort of thing, but, like, in the Highlands. I don't know. I'll have to look... Well, when we do our places we want to go in Scotland, I'll look it up and see where the best places to go. Because, I mean, as a kid, I remember the Highlands being... absolutely like wow,
Yeah.
Mountains and then flat plains and then water.
Yeah.
Water everywhere in Scotland.
Maybe when we're finally able to travel again, we'll make like a companion video that will go with this, and we'll like go, okay, now we used to want to go here and now we're going here in the video. Like
I want to go
we'll,
here.
Like, tick it off the list.
Places we want to go, places we are going. Finally. I think we're gonna move into video at some point, so you can see our faces.
We keep threatening that, but
no. What they're gonna see is they're not gonna see our heads; they're just gonna see our torsos. Just like just talking.
What? Our feet. Our feet. Pointed at our feet.
Pointed at our feet. We'll just talk like hello. I'm sure people have done YouTube videos of that.
Oh my god. Some people might enjoy that, actually.
Apparently.
All right, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know some of the places you want to go around the UK, whether it's England, Scotland, Wales,
Yes.
Ireland, Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
Wherever. And if it's not some place that we were already considering talking about, we'll look into it and maybe we'll talk about your place.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're accepting submissions for places you want to go.
Yeah. Maybe we'll put your place on our list. We'll go there for you.
We'll go there for you, and you can live vicariously through us.
Oh, God. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. As always, we appreciate your support. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.